prospect of adventure. It stirs both excitement and unease in equal part. They ask us to leave certainty behind, adventures, to trade comfort for challenge, while they offer the possibility of something we might carry forever. But they promise nothing. After our attempt the year before, Hannes and I were drawn once again to Fiordland's formidable coastline. A wild stretch of ocean that lies below the 45th parallel, deep in the remote southwest of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Our goal? To sea kayak from Te Waewae Bay to Milford Sound. A 500-kilometre journey coveted as much for its raw beauty as for its challenge. There would, of course, be highs and lows, and that first day had the potential to go either way. The nature of the beach at Te Waewae Bay is that it's pretty flat, so waves break a long way out. So there's a long gauntlet of waves to get out the back, and the further you go, the bigger those breaking waves will be.
I was hoping for something a lot easier and more casual, but I think we probably got the gnarliest possible scenario for our first day, which was pretty rough.
The last time I was in surf like this, I busted my boat, so it's all a bit gun shy of surf. And feeling a good deal of trepidation, I suppose you'd call it.
Definitely a lot gnarlier than we'd hoped for. And, it's going to be a real mission to get out the back. We may not even make it.
Whakatakatahau ki te uru, whakatakatahau ki te tonga. Te amutina kina ki uta, ki mataratara ki tai. E hiaki ana, ki a kākira, e tio, e ruka, e hauhu, ki hei mauri ora.
Even when you have a mate beside you, the surf zone can be a pretty lonely place, because you know that you are really paddling it on your own. It's kind of where you come face to face with yourself, really.
Oh man, that was by far the scariest and hardest paddle out ever. It was, oh man. Woohoo!
Hey, hold up.
Oh, nice work, Jonesy.
Hey,
Nice work, man.
yeah. Oh shit,
Oh, your arms, man, mine are cooked.
pretty knackered, my lungs are cooked.
Well done, boys. Well done.
Adventures are never entirely comfortable. They often have a way of asking from us more than we are comfortable giving. We'd hope for an easy paddle through the surf, but sometimes it's the struggle that gives the day its meaning. As we approached Port Craig, warm with the satisfaction of having passed our first test, a pod of Hector's dolphins appeared, as if to welcome us to their world. Effort has its own reward, but this was the cherry on top, and it was a great way to finish the day. Despite its remoteness, the elements and the sandflies, the Fiordland Coast is actually rich with human history. At one time, Port Craig housed 200 workers in its short history as a timber town. Little remains of its once impressive wharf, and only one building has stood the test of time. This is the old schoolhouse. Had 35 kids in it at one point, back in the 1920s. is now dock hut. Last load and coffee's on, perfect.
Jonesy in front of me, heading off into the distance. We've just set off from Port Craig this morning, and once we head around that point in the distance there, we're going to be on the southern coast proper. No turning back. Next stop, Knife and Steel Harbour.
Along the south coast, you have to paddle 1 kilometre or more offshore to avoid the breaking reefs. On this particular day, it chopped up rough and the coast was a mess of whitewater. We were feeling particularly small, and just when it seemed that there was no hope of getting through the breakers and reefs, Knife and Steel Harbour opened before us and gratefully got to shore. We'd had the goal of staying at Westy's hut, but knew that landing there would be sketchy in the conditions. Hence we landed at Knife and Steel. But we decided to walk the 3 hours to get to Westy's and loaded some supplies. After a bit of suffering, we were in for a treat. How's it?
Brutal. Last kilometre.
Westy's heart had been full of intrigue for us from the outset. You can't see it from Google Earth, and we soon found out why. The whole thing is built in a sea cave. Well, at least we wouldn't have to worry about the roof leaking.
Not quite what I was expecting, but
It was a unique hut on an uncommon coastline. If Narnia has a shore, I reckon it would look like this one. We woke up at Westy's and realised we could actually land our kayaks there, which wouldn't have been possible the day before. So we thought we'd walk back to Knife and Steel and then get reunited with all of our gear, bring it back to Westy's. Our first attempt to leave Knife and Steel Harbour was a bit of a disaster, quite frankly. Conditions were grey and the winds were relatively light, but we were back on the beach in 20 minutes. We got about half a k offshore and just got smashed by the strongest winds I've ever been in. It was mildly terrifying. So we got blown back to Knife and Steel, where we just happened to find a little hut here. So we're holding up here for the time being to see how things change on the weather front.
Alright, so we've just left Knife and Steel Harbour about an hour and a half ago on a hope and a prayer that we'd make it to Westy's hut. It was looking extremely unlikely, but Jonesy managed to find us a little way through this mess behind me.
We are at Westy's, it's all good having our kayaks here now, but the swell's come up, so I think we're trapped for the time being.
Looks like we won't be getting out of here anytime soon, so we hope it clears up tomorrow. So it's a good way to make up a weight belt on the fly with Hannes's special weight belt system, patent pending. Need about 7 kilos, which I think that's about right. We're good to go. No carrying lead. Cool.
Ah, nice one, mate. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's my biggest one. Pretty tiring.
Yeah.
How's that? You see it? It's crawling along the bottom.
No.
It's just out of, well, it didn't even get out of the crack. Just saw its tail from the top. We're like, hey. That should be a decent lunch. So plan for tomorrow, up at light, 5:36.
Yeah.
Go to the beach, make a decision if we want to do plan A, which is straight off the beach here.
It's got to be better than this tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Alright.
Dinner lunch first, and then, oh yeah, look at that. Alright, heading out from Westy's. Getting absolutely annihilated, as you can probably see. Weather's fined up a little bit, so hopefully the exit shouldn't be quite as terrifying as we're envisioning. See you on the other side.
On the other side. Yeah, so this is our channel out of here. And it's just these walls of breakers that bar our way really, but every now and then there's a lull and we just got to time it right and we should be okay, I think. But get it wrong and it's a very consequential departure, this one.
How was that?
Oh, pretty much perfect.
It's scary waiting out here because you can't see anything.
Man, I got out here, I couldn't see you anywhere.
I went a long way, Jonesy.
Oh, I know, and I'm looking over here and it's still breaking out further.
All right, let's carry on, eh?
Yeah. And when you're out there a kilometre or so off the coast to stay outside of the reefs, you can hear the distant thunder of the waves on the coast, reminding you that you can't get to shore anywhere you want. In fact, it's a half a day paddle between landings. And so you feel very small really, and at the mercy of the wind. But you feel awe too. There's no other boats, it's just you and your paddle, and your mate and his paddle in this wild, raw seascape, stretching out in all directions. It's amazing. And that's kind of the deal. You trade a bit of that everyday security you're used to for that feeling of awe. You don't get that every day. This has to be one of the most unique places I've ever visited. Most people would come to a place like this in awe, but a sad few, they come in ignorance, they dump their trash, they prove they never belonged here, never really appreciated how lucky they were to be here. I find that quite sad. We would have liked to have stayed the night at the Green Isles, but the forecast didn't support that idea. The following day the winds were not favourable and we didn't want to risk getting trapped there. So we set off for Persia Point, which was only another 20 or so kilometres further west.
Okay, well this is our last little section. Just about to come around Persia Point.
And finally getting around it marked a major milestone for Hannes and I. The Crux south coast was behind us at last. Well, how does it feel? South coast, done.
Pretty unreal actually.
Yeah. Nice feeling, eh?
Never thought well, no, I did think we'd get here, but been some hairy moments, so.
Yeah, it's a nerve-fraying coast, isn't it? It's yeah,
Wild.
certainly relieved to be here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Heavy.
So doing a few chores, got the washing done, the gear hung up, the harness is on lunch.
Not quite.
Our provisioning was based on a simple idea that Fjordland would provide our protein. Living off the land and the sea wasn't just practical, it's a way of deepening the whole experience, but it adds an edge too. Just heading out to the Persia Lighthouse and looks like we've got some camp meat. Nice young yearling stag, so not too much and nice and tender. Hunting is as raw as it gets, but it's also as honest as it gets. When you live this close to the land, you can't forget how fragile life is or how precious it is. And you can't hide from the truth that each meal that sustains us with animal protein comes at the cost of life.
Come to life, haven't they?
Nothing like swarming sandflies to speed you up. I think that's the fastest I've ever processed a deer. Good to go, eh? Heading away from Landing Shed Bay. It's the first morning we haven't had any trepidation about departure. It's really nice to be in the fjord here and protected, and we're heading up to Te Waewae and Kisby today. Sort of check out some of the historical interest up there from the gold mining workings.
So this is one of the leftover boilers from the gold mining days at Cromarty. Massive and in amazingly good condition.
Reckon it would make a good submarine, that one.
Would make a great submarine.
From Cromarty there's a tramway that leads up over the range into the Wilson River to the site of the Goldensite mine, which was in full swing in about the 1890s. And plenty to delight the eye and the senses along the way. Here's the old one of the rails for the tram. Some of them are wooden, some are steel. The steel on the curbs. An old camp oven. Some spare wheels from the tram. A cast antler. Some black orchids here that have no leaves. Some little carnivorous sundew plants waiting to catch some sandflies.
Check this out.
Holy! Look at that! Wow. That's incredible.
Best part of 3 hours walk. Don't ask me how they got it into here.
Funny how it goes. One day I'm frustrated by rubbish left on a beach. The next I'm admiring the discarded remains of a gold mining camp from over a century ago. But two things are different. One is the materials. A rust is not dangerous, but today's plastics don't disappear. They fragment, they infiltrate the food chain, and they carry harm that we can't even see. But it's also about mindset. These days, we simply ought to know better.
So you don't have this every day. Heading to our next destination and just absolutely surrounded by dolphins. So cool. We've been paddling for about 20 minutes now, and these little playful guys are just coming with me, jumping up right next to the boat, blowing bubbles. Every time I look down I can see them whizzing past. You can hear their little whistles continuously. Pretty amazing. It's a once in a lifetime.
Needless to say, we lost a fair bit of the afternoon with the dolphins, so it was a late arrival by the time we found a suitable place to camp at Spit Islands.
Oh yeah, well deserved.
Got venison, mash and vegetables. The Fjordland rain is just starting to pitter-patter on our fly here, which is keeping us nice and dry. We awoke to a fine day, but the wind was up and heading the wrong direction, so we decided to have a rest day. Jerk our meat, we can make it last a lot longer and take it as some snack food along the way.
Jonesy's got some jerky happening, and I'm doing a bit of a backcountry goulash. We'll just keep that on the boil probably for about 3.5 hours, and that should be perfect.
Your venison stew looks a bit more palatable than my venison jerky, Hannes. We spent the next couple of days making our way through Chalky Inlet and the east and west passages, diving shipwrecks, exploring coves, and eventually making our way to the westernmost point of New Zealand. A great spot for a dive. Only then did I realise I had screwed up badly. The following day, we found ourselves paddling with the land on our left. Not the way things should be if you want to make progress north. Hello, Chalky, my old friend. I've come to visit you again. It's not because I love your sandflies. And paddling 50 extra Ks is unwise. It's because I left my wetsuit on your beach. What a beach. Yes, we're back at Chalky. What can I say? I have a way of keeping life interesting.
Oh, there they are. Just a quick hop, skip and a jump back to Fisherman's. The world is good again. This is coming out of West Cape. Really beautiful rock formation, scarred. Kind of reminds me of wrinkly old skin, a hide, or really interesting. Must get an absolute battering out here. Jonesy, looking like he might have had a bit of a battering as well. Having a morning stretch. There's a far off point we need to get around into Dusky. So we're well and truly into Dusky now. Cool labyrinth of small islands. Looking for a place to sleep for the night.
What the hell is that?
Something out of Jurassic Park.
Velociraptor maybe. It was about as prehistoric a sound as I'd ever heard. And for a while we were both stumped as to just quite what it was. And then one visited our camp that afternoon. Hey fella, is this your island? Sorry mate, looks like we're sharing it tonight. Well, this has to be one of the quirkiest places I've ever put up a tent, but just grateful we found anywhere at all actually, and it's certainly a beautiful place we're in. Butterfish. Thanks, Hannes.
Nice. Oh man, delicious. Yum. Very good.
Yes, we've just stopped for a bite to eat in Pickersgill Harbour, where Captain Cook came in 1773 to clear the top of this hill here so he could observe the transit of Venus to check his chronometer, see how accurate it was. Yeah, so that's we've backtracked to see a bit of history here.
The next day we visited more historic sites. Dusky Sound was birthplace of New Zealand's first European ship, house and settlement. Long before that, Māori had already found their way to this remote and beautiful place.
So it was just bailing out some water of my kayak and then noticed under my fin, seems to be a bit of a trend on our trips. If we can find a way to put a hole in a boat, we seem to be able to find that this is a new one. That's for sure.
This was a freakish set of circumstances where we had our boats tethered to a rock and they were just floating beside the shore. And unfortunately, Hannes's boat drifted across the inlet, but both ends of his kayak were trapped under rocky ledges. The tide was coming in, so after 2 hours, with massive pressure under the kayak, something had to give. So over time it just buckled the kayak in the middle.
This was a fiberglass boat or a standard plastic boat. I think it would have been game over. The whole thing would have snapped in half and trip done. So with this one, amazing. A few pieces of duct tape are just so fixable. It's amazing.
Adventures play by their own rules. They don't bend to what we hope for or feel we deserve. And though we felt cheated by such bad luck, the truth is luck runs both ways. It can't all be good. The missteps, the setbacks, they're part of the shape of the journey, part of the adventure. And ultimately, our trip would have been less rich without the challenges along the way.
Just coming up Goose Cove. But mate, the tide is absolutely hauling through this gap. It's genuinely quite difficult to get in here. Especially since we've already done quite a few Ks today. Found a grade A campsite. The boys roughing it in Fjordland. Just a wee bit of sprinkling of parmesan.
First rule of expeditioning, go with the next chef.
We're bunkered down for the day. Tide's not right for us here, so we can't actually get out till later on. And it looks like it's going to be raining all day. So we thought we'd take this opportunity to just take a rest day. Probably our first proper rain day. And also an opportunity to get ahead of a few holes, which in this case is Jonesy's fleece. Got snagged on a branch or something somewhere.
Getting an itchy spot on my arm.
One of the main problems here is sandflies in your red bush tea, but easy solution.
Secondary use of your head net.
Hey presto, no sandflies.
So this is not a river we're going onto here, this is simply tidal current. Finally the basin that has been dry, tides come back in and we can finally head up and portage across to the other side.
Just on the way to Disappointment Cove. Again, we're lucky today, the swell's actually reasonably mellow. And for once, the winds are on our side. Actually named Disappointment Cove, but it looks beautiful from the map. Coming up between those two islands.
When you forage for your sustenance, you come to appreciate a place not just for its beauty, but for its possibilities. It becomes something that you rely on. It changes your relationship to that place because your very survival depends on its generosity. Land gives and I take. It sounds simple, but the integrity of that exchange only holds if I give back. My respect and my gratitude are all I have to give, but that's what keeps things straight. Just tenderising the powers, it's the best way to do it. Hit them hard.
Disappointment Cove. Definitely not a disappointment.
There's the Chalky.
Yeah, they're monsters.
Oh, so we just paddled from Breaksea to Dag, 30 odd Ks by the time we get to camp, which is maybe another 4 Ks away. Yeah, heavy boats today because we had an extra passenger with the stag we shot last night. long day of monotony really. It's not much swell and not much wind, but every now and then you get a picture postcard waterfall or a surf booming on some rocks or some good conversations.
Some good conversation.
But yep, good to be here.
Yeah, happy to be at camp finally. It was a long day. Definitely.
Packing up early morning to try and beat the wind out on the coast today. Got a headwind, so if we get away before the 11 o'clock chop, then hopefully it'll be not such a big headwind. What do you love about these early mornings, Hannes?
What do I love about these early mornings? I'm trying to find something. It's very still and nice. The stars are out, which are beautiful. There's not a lot I love about them.
Less sandflies.
Less sandflies. Okay, yes, that's true.
Jesus! No, get me out of here. Coming into Doubtful Sound.
Jonesy very tired, Cam.
We were back to familiar ground and spent the following day having a well-earned rest at Gut Hut. Our trip had a purpose beyond our paddle strokes. We were raising awareness and funds for Mental Health New Zealand. And it made sense, because companionship and time in nature have always been foundations for human wellness, and especially for mental well-being. If I think about it, those two have quietly kept me level through life's noise. Nature is my escape, the place that keeps me sane in a world that moves too fast and not in the direction of my choosing. So for me, an extended journey through the wild beauty of Fjordland and the easy companionship of Hannes, they felt like twin tonics, the kind you can't put in a bottle.
Just landing at Dees Cove Hut.
There's something deeply satisfying about working with natural materials, shaping something functional with your hands. It's more than just making, it's a way of connecting to place. And there's a mindfulness that pulls you into the activity, that quietens everything else, like meditation without sitting still. I'm just trying to make a gift for someone who's very kind to us back in Te Anau, as a way of saying thank you, giving him a gift from this place, and done in a way which I believe is sustainable. Part of the tikanga is giving a koha back to the hariki.
So we're just packing up to leave Dee's Hut. We've had a couple of nights here. The weather's looking a little bit up and down. We've had amazing weather up till now. And we've also got a few kind of non-favourable winds, but we're hoping to kind of sneak in between those, maybe some early mornings. Probably another kind of 4 or 5 days of paddling, or 5 or 6 days of paddling. We'll see how we go.
Just headed round the Dragon's Tooth Point here into Two Thumbs Bay. Always exciting, you never know what you're going to find in there. Hoping for a good campsite, could be rubbish, but we get what we get.
Every now and then you happen upon a campsite that exceeds all expectations. Two Thumbs Bay was such a case. It was open, flat, sheltered, close to drinking water, plenty of firewood, Aesthetically appealing, this place had it all.
This campsite even comes with an A-grade swimming hole, fresh water, really nice. So just packing up from Two Thumbs Bay, got about 27 k's to Cat's Eye. We've got a headwind today forecast, but we're just hoping to get out early enough that it doesn't impact us too much.
In the 1800s, there must have been a lot of whales along this coast, because there were over a dozen whaling stations scattered throughout Fjordland that hunted them close to local extinction. But the whales are returning, and in the hush of a remote bay, we heard a whale blow, and found ourselves in the company of humpback whales. To witness a magnificent creature like that up close is nothing short of awe-inspiring. We paid for that chance, of course, in sweat and effort and the boldness to be out there, but chance favours the bold. Oh wow, that's a big one. Just come into Cat's Eye Bay. Looks just beautiful. And we know there is a place to camp here. These are Fiordland's guardian angels, except there's nothing very angelic about these hungry hordes. When people talk about the dark clouds in Fjordland, they might not be talking about the weather. This is the state of play in Hannes's tent.
Can't bite through the thinnest thing. I know they've got through it. Season of sandflies.
The sandflies may well have welcomed us back to Cat's Eye Bay with open jaws, but they seemed a small price to pay for the daily bounty we enjoyed from Fjordland. There was not much to be done anyway, except to cover up and embrace them as part of the Fjordland experience. We're just leaving Cat's Eye Cove and heading out to the big blue yonder again, or grey yonder today, I think.
Just got into Poison Bay, record time, and change of scenery again. We've got these big alpine looking mountains peaking above the clouds, and just on the other side of that snowy top is Milford, so not far to go.
Just another beautiful seafood dinner.
Well, that's the last of it. No more milk in the coffees.
Last milk powder, last fire, last day possibly. So we head away from the beautiful Poison Bay, heading for Milford. One of the sad realities of Fjordland is that leave no trace is a foreign concept to some who visit. And the closer you get to a road end, the worse it tends to be. Trash left behind doesn't just denigrate a place. It degrades the experience for everyone who follows.
Where do you even start?
It's mostly hunters and fishers who frequent these places, and I struggle to understand the mindset.
Oh, so we've had to think about all this rubbish that's here, and we probably are in a position where we can do something about it. We're only a day away from Milford, so we're going to clean up the campsite and do our bit rather than moan about it.
Maybe for some it's about domination over animals, over wild places, over things that can't fight back. But if that's all they see here, they're missing the deeper reward. Because the real bounty isn't something you take, it's something you receive. A chance to reconnect, to feel small in a good way, to remember what matters, and just maybe to be made whole again.
Just heading out of Poison Bay, Milford somewhere there in the distance. Stunning morning, big swell, lots of wind. Should be a great trip.
Milford was our destination, our journey's end. For me, it marked the realisation of a long-held dream to traverse both the wild heart of Fiordland's interior and her storm-carved coastline. For Hannes and I, it was our final day moving together along that raw edge of the Shadowland, finding rhythm still in its pulse and each swell beneath our kayaks. Out here, a journey becomes more than just movement. It binds you to the place and to the people you share it with. Each footfall and paddle stroke stitches memory to memory until the map no longer shows a route, but a story. This film captures but 1 hour of that story, of the more than 500 hours we spent out there. A mere glimpse of what Fjordland gave us.
Oh man, that's incredible. Right, we've got 50 metres of paddling to go. 3 weeks and a bit on the water. 500 kilometres of kayaking. Wouldn't want to do it with anybody else either.
Yeah, same brother.
All those who paddle the Fiordland Coast draw their own line. No two are ever the same. This was the line that held us, rich with salt and wind, with wonder and effort. Each turn around a headland opened a new vista. Each curve into a fjord became a sanctuary from the wild sweep of the ocean.
and each brush with the shore marked a new home for the night. For me, this line is a golden thread linking memory to memory, like beads on a rosary. Sometimes I thumb my way along them. Most never captured on film, yet all still held in the trace of this line. And this line we travelled only exists because of the line that we first dreamed. Without the imagined line, the real one could never begin. It all starts with a dream.